My name is Angela Wamboy, media personality, humanitarian MC, and also a fashionista. So when it comes to mental health, I think back to the first time I ever heard of mental health, or depression or anything of the sort. I never knew what it was, maybe until high school, like second year high school. And I remember sitting in my living room and there's this commercial for like some medication, and it's talking about the symptoms of depression. You know, do you chronically feel like a deep sense of sadness? Things that you once loved doing, you no longer like love or enjoy anymore. It just went on and on, and it made this list, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I feel. So I remember running to my mom that day, and I was like, Mom, I think I'm depressed. My mom just turns to me, she's like, you're not depressed, don't say that, you know? And that was my first, insight into mental health, depression. Even though my parents owned an adult family home that had, clients and patients that did suffer from mental illness, but I still didn't really know what it was. I had a very happy childhood growing up. I feel like in the African community, Black community at that, we didn't really talk about those things. You know, you might see someone that's in the hood or in trouble or whatever, or lost family, but we were never really expressive about those things. But fast forward to 2023, I'm really happy that saying the word mental wellness, mental illness, these are things people can identify, they know what they mean. We may not understand everything about it, but at least the level of awareness in 2023 is a lot more than it was some years ago. I know a lot of people say, it's buzzwords, people try and say they're depressed for attention, this and that. I don't know, it doesn't matter. I'm like, at least we're speaking about it. And I think when it comes to mental wellness, one thing that really does help me are my friends that are vulnerable enough to speak about their battles with mental wellness. I always, I have one of my friends, and I always tell them, like, you talking about your journey and your struggles and like what you're going through, it has helped me tremendously, and I can only imagine how many other lives you have saved just by being brave enough to speak out about what you've experienced in your journey with depression. Depression is a monster. It is a silent beast because you're the only one that realizes you're so deep in it. Not everyone can recognize depression, but at least we know depression does not look a certain way. Depression wears a smile. Depression goes to the club and dance. Depression can have, a few too many drinks. Depression could look dark and sad, but it can also look happy and bright. I think that's the most important thing, is not to judge a book by its cover. And the common saying, like, treat people nice because you never know what somebody's going through, and I truly believe in that. But mental wellness in the 21st century, at least what I do love is how the younger kids, the younger generation is being taught how to deal with emotions, anger. I have a little cousin of mine who in their school, they're taught how to meditate. So instead of sending a child to time out or reprimanding them, it's like, what are you going through right now? Learn how to breathe. And I think that is so powerful, teaching kids how to look within, teaching kids not to suppress how they really feel. And I think that's like the root cause of where a lot of us adults walk around with these mental, emotional issues because we never were taught how to deal with them, or we weren't given the tools to deal with them, or sometimes what we thought or how we felt was always invalidated. So I'm really happy to at least see progress as a whole, also with the implementation of social media. And as much as it's a double-edged sword, yes, things about social media are very negative, but also those that are out there using it for the good of raising awareness, sharing techniques and tips on how to cope with some struggles you're going through. Those are things that I do appreciate. Those are things that I do celebrate. Those are things that I think about. I hope that we continue to Bonga something as simple as just speaking your truth. No matter how dark, sad, or silly it may seem, being able to speak is the beginning of liberating yourself. Yeah, so let's Bonga.